ready to get started. This is a very bittersweet day. This is a very hard thing for me to do. And please be patient with me because I'm a very emotional person to begin with, and I'm very attached to this woman right here. But thank you all for coming. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. 16 years ago, Leslie Gerbracht was sworn in this courtroom. It was just as packed then as it is today. However, it was a horrible weather day. It was a storm. We could barely see out our windows across the street to the Alpha building. But appropriately today, we have sunshine. There is wind, but Judge, that came to me this morning that you have brought sunshine to this district. So I just think that in itself tells us a lot. She has done amazing things for the 3rd Judicial District, for the City of Trinidad, for the counties of Los Animas and Huerfano. And we thank you for all you have done. I don't want to say too much because I have many people who don't want to talk today, but this was one of my gifts to the judge this week, and I think it pretty much sums it all up for me. It says, "May you be proud of the work you have done, the person you are, and the difference you have made." And that fits her to a T. She has so dramatically impacted so many lives during her term as the district judge. Mostly the truancy program, our adoption days, if any of you have ever seen the articles or been present for any of those, she would come with stuffed animals for the adopted children and their siblings. Everything has just got the Leslie Gerbracht touch here these days. She has done a great job. I just cannot say enough, but I'm going to let the rest of you say what you have to say. I don't want to be selfish. I could talk to you all day. So I would like to start by asking Mayor Phil Rico from the City of Trinidad to please come forward.
Thank you, Joanne. It's a privilege to be here with you today, seeing you. I'm not sure if it's your last day or when your last day was, but we go way back. And I want to thank you for everything that you have done, not only for us, my family personally, but what you have done for our community. And I am honored today to read this proclamation for you, because of what you mean to this community, to all of us that are in this room today, and for all of the people that have worked with you, Joanne, and all the people that work in this office. So it is an honor for me to be able to read this proclamation. Office of the Mayor, Proclamation, Trinidad, Colorado. Leslie J. Gerbracht Day, January the 6th, 2023. Whereas the dedicated, selfless service by Leslie J. Gerbracht to the citizens of Trinidad, Colorado is to be recognized and celebrated. And whereas Leslie served the citizens of Trinidad in various offices, first as Deputy Public Defender for 7 years, as District Court Judge from 2007 to 2018, and then as Chief District Judge from 2018 to 2022. And whereas Leslie began a truancy prevention program and GED completion program in District Court, which has seen great success in continuing the education of many Los Angeles County residents. And whereas Leslie has served as board member for the Trinidad State Junior Educational Foundation, and why don't you come up here with me? Stand right here. I want to read this to you. And whereas on behalf of the entire City Council, I want to express my sincere appreciation to Leslie for her exceptional service to the City of Trinidad and wish her much happiness and success as she begins this new chapter in her life. Now therefore, I, Philip T. Rico, Mayor of the City of Trinidad, Colorado, do hereby proclaim Friday, January the 6th, 2023, as Leslie J. Gerbracht Day in the City of Trinidad, and urge all citizens and city employees to join me in congratulating and honoring Leslie for her outstanding career and wishing her many continued years of happiness and good health. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of this city to be affixed. Mayor Philip T. Rico, January the 6th, 2023. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, Mayor Rico, very much. And thank you to the other city employees who are joining us today. Next up, we have Felix Lopez, the chairman of the Los Animas County Commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Sweet 16. Sunshine. What more can we ask for? Judge, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners of Los Animas County, as the chairman of the board, we want to sincerely thank you for your service to Los Animas County and to this region. The hope that exists in the judicial system continues on, but your legacy will stand forever. So please accept our sincere congratulations, and as the sun shines out there, enjoy it. The doors are open to begin the new track of your retirement. Don't be a stranger, come back and say hello to us. Thank you for your service, deeply from Los Animas County and all its employees. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Our next speaker is Dr. Bonnie Aaron, the Superintendent of Schools of Trinidad School District Number 1. The truancy program that Judge has worked so hard on during her years on the bench is one of the things that we have all enjoyed watching progress take place in leaps and bounds, and I know it's been one of her very favorite things that she's done on the bench. Dr. Aaron can tell us more about that, so welcome, Dr. Aaron. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to speak on behalf of Trinidad School District to express our appreciation for all the hard work and years of dedication to the truancy program that has truly impacted our school district, the students and their families, and overall the community. Just in the 5 years as superintendent that I've known Judge Gerbracht, I have witnessed that she serves you and our students and their families out of a genuine love for the students and knowing the outcome of a good education. This is the first school district I have been in that has a truancy prevention program that included a truancy prevention specialist position in our district. The judge's mission is very clear that the truancy program is not a gotcha punitive program. Rather, it's designed to provide support while stressing the importance of students receiving their best education possible. Students, families, and the community benefit when students come to school and receive an education. She really cares about these students and their families and does not want them to suffer from unemployment later on, substance abuse, unplanned pregnancies, and being on public assistance, which statistically we all know are increased. Those chances are increased if you do not have an education or without a high school diploma. She communicates and works with our school staff, our families, and throughout the community on behalf of our students because she knows everyone benefits from education. District administrators and teachers appreciate all her hard work because to support and appreciate the district's efforts because she does realize that it takes a lot of effort on our end, and so it's really nice to have that support from her when we have to come to the truancy courts and work with our families and our students all together. Her dedication to the truancy prevention program inspired me to accompany our truancy prevention specialist on home visits, get to know those families, to work with outside resources to provide resources for our students so we can help them better get to school, and attended one of her end-of-year parties, which was a lot of fun and a lot of sweets. I'm thankful to the judge for leading our community and schools and instilling in us the spirit of the purpose of the truancy program, and know it will continue to thrive because it's what is best for our students, our families, and our community. Best of wishes to Judge, and I asked her what is on her bucket list, and she said to travel, to cook more, and to sleep, but you can sleep when you die. So put that one on hold because you have a lot of more service to render to those who you serve. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aaron. Marty Malouff, our Chief Probation Officer of the 3rd Judicial District, will talk to us a little bit. We have a great relationship with the courts and probation under Judge Gerbracht's leadership. So Marty, please say a few words for us.
Thank you, Joanne. Whenever a judge walks into a courtroom, a court judicial assistant says, "All rise, the Honorable so-and-so presiding." So what exactly is the definition of honorable? Well, according to the all-knowing Google, honorable is used as a title of eminence or distinction, deserving of respect or high regard. I first met Judge Gerbracht when I was a director of a local detox facility. I got a message from my secretary that a judge wanted to come take a tour of detox. I thought that was a little different, but I immediately gave my staff the news and told them to make sure that the place looked clean. When Judge Gerbracht arrived at the facility, I first noticed how extremely approachable and down-to-earth she was, but I also noticed that she asked a lot of questions and wanted details about what went on at the facility and how operations worked. I finally asked her why she was so interested in seeing and learning about the detox facility. She stated that she wanted to fully understand what went on at the facility because it was only fair she was educated on something she had been discussing or ordering from the bench with clients. To me, this was extremely impressive, and she had my respect that day forward for reasons bigger than just being a judge. During her tenure, in addition to fulfilling her regular duties as a judicial officer, she has also been directly responsible for kickstarting and implementing numerous programs that have had a positive impact on our community. The first Los Animas County Family Treatment Court she started, it was a specialized problem-solving court which involved numerous stakeholders to help parents and families involved with social services because of a substance abuse problem. Judge Gerbracht initiated the formation of our interagency oversight group that resulted in funding being awarded to Los Animas County through House Bill 1451 to promote collaboration between local agencies and develop programming to address issues such as truancy and substance abuse. The truancy program, which Dr. Aaron talked about, where her court worked directly with local school district to help decrease number of kids who are not attending school regularly and or improve academic performance. She started a juvenile drug court, a specialized problem-solving court that involved regular meeting of stakeholders to help juveniles involved in the justice system because of alcohol or drugs to help them be successful. A drug task force named Partners for a Drug-Free Community, a county-wide partnership developed in 2014 with numerous agencies and key stakeholders to develop a strategic plan to address the county's opioid and other drug abuse crisis. Since its inception, this group has formed a 501c3 and has taken off, and it continues to grow to this day. Step Up, a 501c3 which has helped fund incentives to reward kids and their families for improved school attendance and academic performance. Step Up also provided school supplies for kids and families who couldn't afford supplies to go back to school. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but these are just some of the programs she has had direct responsibility in bringing to our community. After working closely with Judge Gerbracht both prior to my time here at Judicial and for the last 10 years as CPO, I believe Judge Gerbracht deserves the title of eminence and distinction, as well as respect and high regard. During her time as district court judge, as well as a chief judge, she has fulfilled the definition of being honorable. But she doesn't deserve that title based on her position as judicial officer alone. She also deserves that title based on her character. Judge Gerbracht, on behalf of the Probation Department and myself personally, I want to thank you for all your support and everything you've done for me, the staff here in the 3rd Judicial District, the state of Colorado, Judicial Branch, and the local community over the years. You have always shown dedication, empathy, honesty, and integrity, and you have truly been a role model and mentor to me. I wish you all the luck going forward, and thank you for serving honorably. It has also been an honor working with you. Thank you.
I'm going to turn this one on. This is just a little too short. Plus, I'm going to make Mr. Murphy's job really hard. I'm going to walk around and pace a little bit. Thank you all for coming. We can all be so lucky to have impacted so many people as we have here today, as Judge Gerbracht has impacted so many. And some of you have traveled quite a ways to be here. I know Denise and the nephew, you guys have both traveled quite a ways to be here. Thank you. You win the prize for the furthest trip. We don't have any prizes. So. This is it. So I jotted down a few notes just to keep me on track because, like everybody else, I could talk for a long time about the impact that Leslie has had on the 3rd Judicial District. So I wanted to refer to my notes to make sure I don't talk for the next half an hour. For example, when I look at this courtroom, it's kind of funny. This isn't in my speech, I just thought about it. When we were redoing this courtroom here, Leslie wasn't the chief judge at the time, so Claude and I decided on the colors that we were going to paint the courtroom. Anybody guess what colors Leslie doesn't like? Blue and gray. So we painted her courtroom blue and gray. But what the funny thing is where you see that red stripe up there, I stopped there because our contractors wouldn't go up above that. And Leslie came into the courtroom and she goes, oh, no. We're going to go all the way up to the ceiling. I said, no, I don't think we can. The OSHA requirements, they don't allow folks to go up on ladders and scaffolds and all that stuff. And she said, I don't care, we're going to get it done. So anyway, she contacts the folks at the prison and brings them in and says, hey, what's it going to take to get this thing painted all the way up to the ceiling? Yeah, we can do that. So her impact on the community is really great. All she has to do is kind of give us direction and say, go forth and do good, and good things happen. But what I want to do is think back 16 years ago when Leslie was interviewing to become a judge. And it seems like it was like yesterday. That 16 years flew by so fast. And the last 4 years as chief judge, it's a blur. I mean, we have done so many things in 4 years. It's amazing. I don't know how many things they threw at us in 4 years. I mean, there's been fires, and floods, and hurricanes, murder hornets. Oh, wait, no, they canceled murder hornets. So, but then they had this whole thing called a global pandemic in 2020 that was really tough to, but Judge Gerbracht was our chief judge for a year at that time, and basically at that time, we decided to shift gears from first gear into 10th gear and said, okay, lead. And she did. She led us through a global pandemic that none of us had lived through before. And it was amazing to go through that with her and her leadership. It was incredible. But I don't think things have slowed down since 2020. So it's a good time for you and Chuck to take a little bit of a break. This job that she does, if you can call it a job or a calling, sometimes people look at that and they can see a case number or a file folder or a name on a docket or check boxes and widgets and all that. But I don't think that's how Leslie did this job. You know, when she would see somebody sitting at one of these tables, she saw the person. And it didn't matter if it was a witness or a victim or a defendant. She saw that person as a human being and would, by the way, great speech, Marty. The honorable thing that you talked about is how she went about this job. She would honor with compassion and with empathy and fairness. And it was impressive to watch that. You know, we talk about the people that come through here and all the folks that come into the courtroom. Our work family is something that she takes very seriously. And so if you've been part of that, you know that that's what she calls you, her work family. And there's some folks here that are former work family that have come and wanted to honor her as well. She is very much a family-oriented leader and wants to make sure that we all are taken care of, that we take time for ourselves, for our mental health, for our families. I don't think that there's been a time when we've told our folks that you can't take a day because your kid has a soccer game or a medical appointment. But the biggest and the most important folks that come through here are what some of you already talked about, the kids in our community. Judge Gerbracht has made it her mission to help young people in the community, whether it's being a mentor or as part of the truancy program that you've already heard about, or adopting a forever family, adopting a child or children into their community. She's made it her mission to give every kid an opportunity for the biggest possibility for success in their lives. And I don't know if there's any kids here that have gone through a program that are probably out changing the world right now, because she helped lead a lot of those folks to graduation or a GED, and they're on to do bigger and better things. Leslie, your legacy as the first female judge and eventually the first female chief judge in this district, we could talk about that for a long time, but it's going to live on for a long time because you have impacted so many people and you're going to be missed by a lot. I want to personally thank you for your leadership to the third, but also, you know, we've been through so personally, and I just want to thank you for being there and offering your support and your leadership, both personally and professionally, to me. And it's tough to find the words to say how happy that I am for you and Chuck and your family, that you get to now take this opportunity to unwind and take a breath, relax a little bit, and do some of the things in life that are fun instead of coming up and having to work with us every day. So I wish nothing but the best for you, and I know we're not going to be done seeing you. You're part of the senior judge program, so we're going to continue to work together, but I am really happy that you get to make this transition into the next phase of your life.
Okay, thank you both, Marty and Bob.
Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to introduce the next one?
No, I'm good.
Yes, ma'am.
I already got through the crying phase. You're not taking over now. So, at this time, I'd like to introduce Chief Judge Mark McDonnell from the 16th Judicial District. Thank you so much, Judge McDonnell, for being with us today.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark McDonnell. I'm the Chief Judge in the 16th Judicial District, which is your neighbor, La Junta and Crowley County and Bent County. And as the chief judge, it's been my privilege and opportunity to have gotten to know Leslie very well over the last 4 years as she's assumed this role and has just done an exemplary job. It's really been great hearing from her peers and what everybody here has to say about her, because they're really all the things that I have seen and had an opportunity to observe and just speak. One of the really odd parts about being the chief judge in a particular judicial district is you're the administrative head of the district. So Leslie, Judge Gerbracht, has been the the one who's been responsible for the administration of justice. What does it look like to run a court in a rural community? What's it look like to run a court in a pandemic? And spring of 2020, and we all really remember it, the pandemic came and the lockdown came, and we were faced with this decision. How do you run a court? How do you ensure the administration of justice through this difficult situation? And the chief judges met twice a week for half a year, once a week for a year. We were meeting all the time, and there were just so many decisions that had to be made, and that was a difficult time. And your judge was one of the leaders in the state in terms of how we were going to go about that and what it was going to look like to administer justice in the middle of that. And it was just, it was really awesome, and it was awesome to serve with her. And one of the things that I'll always remember Judge Gerbracht for is being a voice for the rural courts. The metro courts dominate the numbers, the money, the programs, the program spaces, and the rural courts need a voice. And the situations and the realities of a rural court are much different than a urban court or a suburban court. And one of the things that I've always appreciated Leslie is she's been a partner on that particular issue. I had been a judge for a number of years in my community, and I remember, I've said this before, because I was a lawyer in that community before, and I walk into a store and I have sued, had in front of me, or represented every single person. Every single time I go in the store. It's not just, and so, it's a tough role to be a judicial officer. You're an example, and, you stand for justice in your community, and you've done a fantastic job. It's just been really awesome to see. As I kind of sit in this courthouse, and I really liked what Bob said, and just pointing this out, I'm on a committee, an underfunded committee, and communities like Los Animas and Huerfano and my communities of La Junta, Otero, and Crowley and Bent don't have the resources to always maintain these facilities in the manner in which they deserve. And there's a program that's sponsored by the state courts, and Commissioner Lopez and Bob Kryman and the Huerfano County Commissioners have been frequent flyers at that. And I love this courtroom. And one of the things that Leslie was just so involved with is to make sure that you had appropriate facilities for your court. And she could tell you, I could estimate, but she could tell you probably with some detail the amount of time that she put in with respect to the new Huerfano County courthouse. And so you think of a judge and you think of them making a decision in a particular case, that wasn't all that this person did. So much more. I was at a retirement for another individual, a senior judge who retired recently, and he was talking about the position, and he was talking about, that it was an honor and a privilege to be a judge. And I saw the headline on the paper as I came in, the best job I've ever had. And it is, but it's a really hard job. And you're making decisions and decisions and decisions, and they're consequential decisions, particularly for the people who are in front of you. It's a difficult position, and it's a hard job. And you have an individual in front of us who's just done it with grace and aplomb and study and integrity, and just an amazing example of a judicial officer in the state of Colorado. And one of the things that a judge is often asked is, what's the most important case that you've ever dealt with? What's the most important case that's ever been in front of you? And, a good judge, and I know that this would be Leslie's answer to this question, but, the most important case in front of you is the one that's in front of you. The one you are dealing with at a particular time, because it's important to that person, I can guarantee you. And you need a judge who cares, you need a judge who studies, who knows the law. Empathy is a critical part of being a judge, but so is study and the ability to make the hard call in the hard case. And there's a shelf life for it, I'm sure. And I don't know what that is, but 16 years is certainly a long time to have been in that role and to be making those calls. So on behalf of the chief judges of the state of Colorado, Leslie, we want to thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge McDonnell, for being with us today. At this time, I'd like to introduce District Judge Clay McKisson. Judge McKisson was recently appointed as the new Chief Judge of the 3rd Judicial District. Thank you, Judge McKisson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know a lot of you, but there's a lot of faces here that I don't know. For you folks, my name's Clay McKisson, and I have had the privilege of working with Leslie for at least the last 6 years that I've been on the bench, but I've been around a little bit longer than that, not much. Which leads me to my next point. Leslie, with your retirement, our district is losing an enormous amount of institutional knowledge. To put things in perspective, you were on the district court bench when I was just a baby DA down here who could barely find his way to the county courtroom. Now, I'm going to be the guy who's been around the longest, which, like I said, is not all that long. And I say that to illustrate this point. We have a young bench in our district, and we will greatly miss your direction and your insight. We will greatly miss your leadership. You brought us through COVID-19. Other folks have touched on that for good reason. That was a monumental feat. There was no script for that. And I watched from the sidelines while you navigated us through that. And the amount of time and effort and stress was evident, but again, it was, your leadership was impeccable. I thank you for that. As you reminded me at our judges meeting last week, there was also the 48-hour bond hearing rollout, which, again, I had forgotten about, frankly, because you did all the work. You and Bob put the time in to get that to run smoothly. For those of you who don't know what that is, you don't need to know, but Leslie put a lot of work into it. And right out of the gate as chief judge, you took up the reins on the Huerfano County courthouse construction after Judge Appel retired, and oversaw its construction as the chief judge, which was no small endeavor, and we are grateful to have that building. We have relied on your leadership for the past 4 years. But beyond your time as Chief Judge, I've become aware of some of the accomplishments that define your career. We've heard a lot about those today already, and I'm not going to rehash all of them, but of course, the truancy prevention program is paramount. And I know that you were named Citizen of the Year in 2012 for your work with truancy. You started a nonprofit organization to further that work. That's just a couple of the things that you can really be proud of. But those are the type of positive changes that judges should aspire to create in their communities. And somewhere along the line, you decided that you were going to retire. And I think you held on to that for a while before making your announcement. But you brought me in pretty early to collaborate and to learn regarding a lot of Chief Judge issues. I thank you for that. I also know you didn't do it all just for me, but for the good of our district, because you care about our district and you care about our staff. The often used metaphor around retirement is riding off into the sunset. But I guess from where I sit, a long ways from retirement, I see retirement as a sunrise. It's a new day with unlimited opportunity. And I think based on our conversations, I think you see it the same way. More time to travel, more time to ride your bike with Chuck, more time to enjoy beautiful West Cliff, Colorado, more time to do whatever the heck you want. Enjoy this time. You have earned it. I will see you soon when you're back as a senior judge. You will be greatly missed, Leslie, and I thank you for your leadership.
Before I turn this over to our guest of honor, I'm sure she has some things she'd like to say to us. Is there anyone else who has anything they'd like to say? Come on, young man.
Hi guys, I am a former person of the Truancy Advocate Program. I don't have anything really written down. I don't normally do speeches like this. But I've known the judge since I was 7 years old, and I'm now standing here at 17, looking at her one final time before we would depart. One final time. As I look around this courtroom, I noticed that there's a lot of people that I know as adults and that I don't know yet. But I can greatly say that it is a pleasure to be a person of your advocate, and I'm really sorry that you're going to be gone. Arigato gozaimasu.
That is an example of one of many, many young lives you have touched. Anyone else?
I'm so honored to be here today. And I just want to fill in the Las Animas Trinidad group, what you've done in Walsenburg. The new courthouse that you oversaw with Bob is outstanding, and the fact that the people who are in the middle of conflict need not stand at the top of those old stairs and be together. That was the major thing. But the fact that you brought in Brent, my husband, and me to help with the art placement in the building was a great honor. And the fact that you understood that art has a purpose is amazing. So thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to say anything?
Good afternoon, I'm Dale Hartman, and I'm representing South Central Council of Governments today, especially the children's program, and one of those numerous programs that Judge Gerbracht made a difference in were mentioned, but the one that wasn't is supervised visits of families that we've partnershiped with her, that she got behind us and was instructional in making it happen. And she's empowered us. She's valued our opinions and the documentation that we do when children have to visit their families under direction of the courts and our documentation. And you can imagine this isn't a program that gets a lot of notoriety because it's not always pleasant. But being in the first row of when that happens, it can be touching and it can be devastating to watch what children go through. Some of them leave agreeing to disagree, and some of them are reunited. And we've been doing that for numerous years now, and I get to see the benefit of that and the touching stories behind that. She doesn't, she just sees our documentation. She's been instrumental in that, and I kind of feel like it's the starfish effect. The starfish wash up on the shore, and we try to take care of them. And when they're ready to swim, we throw that one in as a success, and we say, there's one that we saved. So thanks for working with our children and families. It makes a difference. And just like the young man that spoke today, those children aren't going to be here today to speak, but you've made a real difference in children and families in our area, so thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Terry Ruckrickle. I'm a former chief judge up in the 5th Judicial District, and I got to know the judge starting in 2015 and 2016. For 2 years I was working down here as a practice monitor, but little did I know at the time that I was really getting two friends for one. Chuck and I became great friends during that time, and spent some time after that in this area going hunting. I first came to Trinidad, though, back in 1977 when Luis Lopez was elected district attorney. And those of you, there's a few older people around or that know his legend would know that he was the public defender at the time. So I happened to be asked by the Colorado District Attorneys Association to come down here and to serve as a special prosecutor, which I did for the next 2.5 years because of the conflicts that he would have being the prosecutor involving the cases that he had represented people in prior to that. So I got to know and love Trinidad in those times that I came down from. Then it was from Breckenridge. I'm from Georgetown. Now I live in Breckenridge. But the important thing about being down here again, besides that full circle for me, is to be here to see Leslie enjoy her opportunity to retire. I did that in 2010, although I stayed on as a senior judge, which I still do now. But I have to tell all of you that are here that her commitment to, you've heard many people speak about a variety of different things that she did, starting programs, caring about juveniles, the young people in the community, and not just here in Trinidad, of course. We're talking about the 3rd Judicial District, Walsenburg, and Trinidad. And she has been committed to being stern with people when necessary and being helpful with people when it would be just and appropriate to do so. And she's committed her time on the bench to do that. Of course, she had a prior job in the public defender's office of doing that too, to help people. But that was as an advocate, as opposed to just being someone who would do that from up there, from the bench, where it matters to all of us. Anyway, congratulations on your decision, and enjoy your time together, and thank all of you for coming here today, because Judge deserves the recognition that you appreciate what she's done.
Thank you. That was a nice surprise. I think we were expecting you to show up today. You snuck in on us. Is there anyone else before I bring on the guest of honor? If not, then I would like to present to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Nice.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Gerbracht. I'm Leslie's little brother. You know, y'all saw Leslie come blowing into town 16, 18 years ago as a baby lawyer. Y'all don't know what was in front of that. You know, Leslie busted her backside. Can I say ass in your courtroom, man? Leslie busted her ass to get to where she is. She's the quintessential Gerbracht. It's kind of like the quintessential Gambini and My Cousin Vinny, right? Our family is full of workers and fighters, and that's what Leslie has done her entire life. So you guys see this person that created all these great programs and so forth, but what I see is I'm so proud of who you are. She's influenced me, she's influenced my son, her daughter, everybody in our family. I love you. Thank you.
Okay, last call. Otherwise, I would like to present to you our outgoing judge, our mentor, our dear friend who has just stuck by us and gotten us through so much over the last 16 years, Leslie Gerbracht. Who put these up here? Smart person.
I'm gonna keep this short.
Sure.
I appreciate everybody being here today. I thank my very good friend Joanne. She and our staff have done all of this with all of her little helpers, the memory board and the snacks, candles. If you're gonna have a party, you wanna make sure Joanne plans it. It's been really emotional around here the last couple weeks. I'm sort of surprised that we even have any Kleenex left. There's been a lot of tears in the back of the house. We do have the best staff in the state of Colorado right here in the 3rd. We have been understaffed and overworked for seemingly years. As Bob mentioned, when COVID hit, we had to make cuts. There's some people that lost their jobs. It was really hard. And we've been trying to build back up again. I'm not going to name all of our staff individually because it would take too long. But you all know who you are. You know how much I care about all of you. It is because of our staff that we can provide the service that we do. Our staff is on the front line, the front counter, the reception desk, the phone, day in and day out, and week in and week out, year after year. Somebody up here talked about how this job, sitting up there at the bench, is hard. It is. There's a lot of people in here that have hard jobs. A lot of you have hard jobs. For those members of my work family, I hope that you believe this is the best job you've ever had, because I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, this is the best job I've ever had. I didn't grow up here, but I love Trinidad. Trinidad has been my home for 25 years. I have lived, and I'm a lot older than 25. I have lived in Trinidad longer than any other place I have lived in my entire life. Trinidad has been very good to me, and I thank the community of Trinidad. I thank Mayor Rico. I thank Commissioner Lopez and all the county commissioners, Dr. Aaron, Mr. Donnell, Ms. Picelli. When Mr. Donnell and Ms. Picelli walked in, I told them, I said, I'm so glad you're here because you've been with me from the beginning, my truancy prevention program. Don't be fooled. I'm not the truancy prevention program. It's the school district. And it is the principals and it is the teachers who have to write reports for every single kid who comes before me once a month. They're doing the legwork. I couldn't do it without the school district. It is a true partnership. And I thank you. You all have a hard job. I thank Chief Glorioso and everyone here from the Trinidad Police Department. We worked together to start a life skills program in the school district. Chief Glorioso likes to talk about when he was a DARE officer. The life skills program is sort of like that. But once again, without the cooperation of the school district and the volunteers, the volunteer Trinidad police officers who go into the schools on their own time, we would not have that program. I want to welcome Judge McKisson as the next chief. Clay, you're going to do great. Mr. Fowler is here somewhere. Raise your hand. Mr. Fowler. Mr. Fowler has been named as the next district court judge to sit in this courtroom. You're going to love it. I'm going to end with the same thing that I said when I started 16 years ago. Dr. Martin Luther King. Occasionally in life, there are moments which cannot be completely explained by words. Their meaning can only be articulated by the inaudible language of the heart. Thank you all very much. Joanne has wonderful snacks, so please stick around.
Okay, once again, thank you all for coming. Please help yourself to anything that's on the back tables. There is plenty. Please make sure you look at her memory board that's in the front of the courtroom. Do not leave without signing her guest book for today. It will be a day she will always remember. And thank you all again for being with us today. We appreciate all of you. Thank you.
It's right here.
It pissed me off, so.
I mean, they get a room if they want to give us the regular rate, like, no, we're part of that party, so we're not.
We have any more of those rooms. No. We have a bunch of empty rooms, but none of them are those empty rooms.
Last name is Greg.
But that's basically what I told her. To the holiday, the only reason to turn it down is for the Gerbracht party.